Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream for Axia TV. My name is Jensen Chapman, Sales Director here at Axia by Q-Cells. And today I've got some exciting information to share with you. This is now, I believe, our fifth session. And we're going to go back to basics today and talk a little bit about, or help you understand as a viewer, if your home is solar ready and all that goes into a solar design, proposal, etc., so that you can have some great information to learn from and hopefully inspire you to make the switch to clean energy. If you're joining today on YouTube Live, thank you for being here. Again, my name is Jensen from Axia by Q-Cells, and today I'll be discussing a lot about the basics of solar and really to find out how or if your home is solar ready. I should be on here for another 30 minutes or so. So if you have a question for me, or whether you be a first-time viewer or you've been here before, go ahead and drop it in the chat at YouTube Live, and I'll be able to answer those as I go in real time. And don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you, or at least get some feedback on your experience today for today's live stream. So I'll give it a minute here, and then I'll click into our presentation. Now, for starters, if you're joining today at AxiaSolarUSA.com, we've got a few options for you to learn how solar may be right for you. You can actually call our 949 phone number here on the screen. You can click on Get an Estimate, Get Started. We even have a handy solar calculator. By putting in your energy use or bill amount, we can actually provide you real-time pricing up front. But really our goal is to schedule a time to meet with you so we can go over all the finite details of a solar project and really learn what's important to you and help you make the right decision when it comes to going solar. We also have a chat feature on our website where you can talk to a solar expert live. Their job is really to answer any upfront questions that you have and then to make sure your home qualifies for our programs and then schedule a free virtual consultation with one of our energy consultants. So we're glad you're here. If you are on YouTube Live, you can jump over to AxiaSolarUSA.com and actually click on any of those buttons. But I want to go ahead and get started with today's presentation. And hopefully you like what you hear and we get to meet with you soon enough. So for starters, today I'm going to talk about who is Axia by Q-Cells. A lot of people may not know the name Axia, but certainly know the name Q-Cells. Then the meat and potatoes of today's live stream is how to evaluate your home's solar potential. I'll talk in depth about that. I'll share with you some of the tools that we use to assess homes for solar power, and then how to prepare for your free virtual consultation with one of our Axia by Q-Cells energy consultants. Lastly, I'll do a brief overview of our products and services. But I think what's most important now is for you to know who we are, how solar is going to work for you, and how to be best prepared for your own meeting. Because it's really a lot of fun, very informative, and we'd love an opportunity to meet with you. Okay, so if you got a question or anything in the chat, drop it in now. I'll take little pauses throughout this presentation and be sure to answer your questions live. Any of my followers or colleagues that are here, if you want to drop a nice note about sound and visual quality, let me know that everything's good. But all in all, we're just super happy you're here. So let me tell you about Axia. What is this all about? Well, the word Axia itself comes from the Greek word meaning value or worth. In fact, the pillars of our company are based around this very word. You see, Q-Cells, a solar manufacturer, has been in business now for almost 2.5 decades. And we've learned a lot in the residential space, helping homeowners go solar throughout the United States of America. And what we've learned are some of the nuances, some of the shortcomings, and some of the issues that involve a small construction project like solar. So we really started from the customer experience and then worked backwards. So the word, again, Axia, meaning value or worth, is truly what we rest on to provide the absolute best value to our customers, the absolute best experience, because we're really counting on that experience for them to rave to their friends and family through our handsome referral or ambassador program I'll touch on in just a minute. Now, who is Axia by Q-Cells? We've covered our company name or the meaning of the word, but what Axia truly is a direct-to-consumer platform for Q-Cells, the manufacturer. You see, Q-Cells manufactures solar technology, and Axia is the direct selling arm of Q-Cells. And how we really differentiate ourselves is, well, let me put it this way. Most, if not all, other solar companies are middlemen of some sort, where they're either brokering the deal, perhaps they're the advertiser, the contractor, putting together all these components to sell a homeowner a solar electrical system. The problem with that is with so many different parts and so many different warranties, you as the consumer may not know who to call based on several pass-through warranties. Now, since this is kind of a one-way conversation right now, it's hard for me to ask any questions directly. But if you're a homeowner and have ever maybe done a kitchen remodel or a backyard project, you've probably worked with a contractor or two, and sometimes things don't always go right, whether it be parts, labor, or delivery. And sometimes you get passed around, or maybe you have, maybe you haven't, on who's to blame or who's responsible for what. Well, we really rest on the power of one. You see, we are the manufacturer. We are the seller. And now we're becoming our own installer and even have our in-home financing. So all of these companies are all combined as one, which is really part of the Axia advantage, or as we're now simply putting, a better way to go solar. So that's a little bit about who we are and what we do here in the residential space. So if you're a homeowner right now in the states of California, Texas, or Florida, we're here to serve you directly. So I encourage you to jump over to our website at axiasolarusa.com. Go ahead and submit your information. We'll reach out to you quickly and then schedule a virtual consultation. A little more about Q-Cells, the manufacturer, and this is pretty exciting. Recently, and this made headlines, including visits from our own federal government, Q-Cells made one of the largest investments in U.S. history in a solar manufacturing plant in Dalton, Georgia. Over $2.5 billion was invested to make solar technology here on U.S. soil. Currently, our parts and things are assembled here in the U.S., but this will be the largest and most and only sustainable solar factory in the U.S., which is also creating jobs for our citizens here in the U.S., which is another feel-good thing about the whole solar movement happening. So again, when you're working with one company, Axia by Q-Cells, you're getting everything from factory to rooftop. And if there's ever a question, problem, concern, or referral, you only have one number to call, and we'll take care of it all. So that's a little bit about who we are, Axia by Q-Cells. Now I really want to get into some of the meat and potatoes of why you're here today, to see how we evaluate your home for solar and to find out, of course, if your home is solar ready. So let me start with how we evaluate your home's solar potential. A number of factors go into this. We're looking at your energy use of today and tomorrow. We're looking at your roof directions, pitch, azimuth, angle to the sun. We're also taking into account any trees around your home that could cast shade on the roof in certain areas. More on that in a second. And we also need to check the age of your roof, the quality of that roof, most importantly, the structural integrity of such a roof. So more on that as we go. To take a quick break, if you're here right now joining for the first time and have a question for me here on YouTube Live, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer it. I'm going to be here for the next 30 minutes or so, and this will be recorded. But either way, I'm so glad you're here. If you want to inquire about solar to see if it's right for your home, we're happy to. We have a live expert on standby, or you can ask me directly through this chat. So let me get back to where we left off. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is your home's energy use of today and tomorrow. Yeah, now a lot goes into this because we all use energy, right? We need it for our bodies, we need it for our homes, we need it now for our cars. And more homeowners than ever are going electric these days. So what better way to charge that electric vehicle than with sun gas? This could certainly increase the home's electricity usage, which if you plan for it and you go solar and even with a whole home battery, you can actually be rest assured that you're not only fueling that electric vehicle with a clean fuel source, but you can also rely on, a lot of savings when it comes to generating your own power from the sun. So that's very important to our analysis, is understanding the homeowner's energy needs of today and tomorrow. And depending on the amount of roof space that you may have, or ultimate say on where panels go on your roof, we can design a custom energy solution that meets your electrical needs of today and tomorrow. The next thing we're going to take a look at is your roof's direction to the sun. Now, this is a great example of a roof with many different angles or pitches to the sun. This is actually done through remote technology to determine all the different pitch, the azimuth, the angle your roof has to the sun. And then ultimately we come up with a design that's going to optimize your solar electrical system for direct sunlight, because the more direct sunlight you get, the more you can produce energy off the roof. So you're probably thinking in your mind, well, my neighbor just went solar, or I've seen solar panels on my kid's school. How do I know how they're going to work and where they're going to go on my roof? Well, trust us, the experts. We'll show you that, and in fact, get you very involved in your own design, but we will make sure that we're showing you maximum efficiency or optimization based on the placement on that part of the roof. Another thing to take into consideration is any shade factors from trees or even neighboring buildings around your property. Now, this image is a great example of a customer that just went solar with us. And as you can see a little bit of shade on that far right of the roof, we intentionally installed those solar panels away from that area so that we can maximize performance or optimize the system's production. And our advanced software, which I'll get into next, will give us that ability to determine. And if you are looking, or your home does have a lot of shade or from trees or neighboring, we can look for the hot spots on your roof together, and then again ultimately design a system that's going to perform better for you, that could cover most if not all of your energy needs of today, and then even design a system for future energy needs like an electric car, pool, spa, or other. Your roof type is super important. We need to make sure that we have a good surface or material to install on so that we can have peace of mind that we've installed your system properly, safely, and of course to prevent any leaks or any damages to your roof. Because after all, that roof has a purpose, doesn't it? And that's to protect you from the elements and keep you warm or cool, depending on the season, and certainly protect your home from rain, leaks, or water damage. So the age, the quality of your roof, and most importantly, the structural integrity is considered so that we know that we can safely secure solar panels on your roof and it's not going to compromise your roof's functionality or cause any damages there. I just had a question in the chat. How much shade is too much shade? Can I still put a panel in a shaded area? Appreciate the question. Thanks for asking. I wouldn't say that every home in the United States is right for solar for those factors I've shared so far. But I will tell you that if you do have heavy shade, you may be surprised to understand there are still some spots on your roof that see sunlight. Maybe not throughout the entire year, but at least enough during peaks of the year, maybe spring and summer, to generate clean power that can help offset your electricity bill and really save you money, which most people are into. And even so, if you're installing panels on a roof that does get shade, that's still doing your part for the environment or conserving energy, because the less energy we buy from the grid, the more we're doing our part for the environmental benefits. Now, if there is shade in the area of the roof, we may want to consider a different inverter technology that performs a little better under shady conditions. But I do think it's a fair question. That's why we're inviting you for free to schedule a virtual consultation with us so we can use our software, show you firsthand if or when this would make sense for you. And more times than not, when we meet with homeowners that do have heavy shade on their roof, we can ask them or even somewhat coordinate for them to have those trees maybe trimmed back or even removed to reduce the shade so they've got the ability to produce more energy off their roof through direct sunlight. So thanks again for the great question. Hey, if you're just joining today, my name is Jensen Chapman, Sales Director here at Axia by Q-Cells, and we're so glad you're here. We've got a few ways for you to learn more if you're ready to get an estimate. If you're joining on YouTube Live, I would encourage you to jump over to AxiaSolarUSA.com. There you can request a quote, get an estimate, even talk with a solar expert. We have people on standby to take your calls. And really, our approach is direct, straightforward, as we want to meet with homeowners when, where, and how they want. And we're truly offering a better way to go solar through our vertically integrated solutions. And again, a straightforward, transparent pitch or process so that more and more homeowners can be informed and inspired to make the switch to clean energy. We even have a handy calendar feature. If you're ready to streamline or don't need to talk to anyone yet, you can click on the calendar feature below. There you can schedule your own date and time that's convenient, and we'll be sure to meet with you and show you what and how this would work for your home. All right. Next, I want to share with y'all some of the tools that we use to assess a solar proposal. And in today's modern technology world, we're using, of course, the best of the best equipment, as Q-Cell or Axia by Q-Cells is a company that is dedicated to one thing, and that's solar energy for homes and businesses. So we really are using the best technology. We don't really dabble in anything else. It's kind of our thing. For starters, we're going to use some advanced technology to measure a couple things on your home's or for your home's solar potential. This first image here in yellow is what we call an annual irradiance design. That's a mouthful. We're essentially modeling the sun going over your roof for a 12-month period. We're not just taking a snapshot of your roof on a bright sunny day, but rather really looking at how the sun moves over your home. And, it's higher in the spring and summer, lower in the fall and winter. And the brighter the yellow, the more optimal your roof has for solar panels. So that's one starting point, is the annual irradiance of your roof to determine where the best panel placement would be, and then to make sure the homeowner agrees with the aesthetics, where it's going to go. Some people don't want to see panels on the front of their home or in different areas. So we'll work with you there. But this is a great example of how we use the annual irradiance to determine or to maximize efficiency for your solar design. The next image helps animate some of the trees around your home or property. And we do this to height and girth throughout a 12-month period. So we know exactly how those trees may play into any shade factors I discussed earlier. So again, we can move panels or design a system out of those shady areas to maximize or optimize performance from your solar electrical system. We're also taking a look at your energy needs of today and tomorrow, as I mentioned, and then we're going to model that against what your solar panels are expected to produce each month and each year. Now, because we go through 4 seasons a year, you can always count on the spring, summer, fall, and winter. You got to know that in the spring and summer, you're likely to produce more energy from your solar panels than you would in fall and winter. And we can model this in this image here, understanding there will be months of the year where you're going to produce more than you use, months of the year where you'll use more than you produce. Either way, it all balances out throughout a 12-month period. And there's some great information at your utility's website on programs called net metering, where you may be able to get credit for any of that extra power you produce, say in the spring or summer months. And one of my favorite things about helping people go solar in all my years is actually visiting their homes and watching their meter go backwards on a bright sunny day when they're producing more electricity from sunlight than what their home's using. That really happens. In fact, a great example or explanation I like to share is, let's imagine you had solar on your roof on a bright sunny day in the month of June. Well, on a day like that, you're probably going to produce more kilowatt hours than what your home uses, in which case your electrical meter outside goes backwards. So let's imagine that day your meter went backwards 50 times. Well, that means your meter, your solar panels, are sending power back to the utilities grid, and that's being used by your nearest neighbor. Now, in some utilities in some states, there's programs called net metering, where you can actually get credits for that extra power that went back to the grid, and it comes back to you, say at night, to help offset some of your nighttime use. But now with the adoption of energy storage systems or whole home batteries, now more and more homeowners than ever in the United States are investing in energy storage solutions or batteries to actually store up that extra power that they produced, that they can then pull from at night during cloudy days or stormy weather, and certainly during power outages. All in all, this will be discussed during your free virtual consultation. But again, we're looking at your energy needs of today and tomorrow, the pitch, the azimuth, the angle your roof has to the sun, the quality of your roof, the structural integrity, and then we'll use our advanced software to model the best design to optimize performance and, of course, to maximize your savings. If you got another question in the chat, or if you got a question today, drop it in the chat. I see one that just came in. We're about halfway through this live webinar, so I'm glad you're here. And let me see if I can take another question here. What if I only have room for a system on my north-facing roof? What can you do? Well, that's a fair question. You know, my short answer to that is a north-facing roof won't yield that much power. And this is really based on where we live in the Western Hemisphere. I suppose I would have a different angle on that if we lived in the Southern Hemisphere. Just the same, or I should say the Eastern Hemisphere. That said, we can put panels on a north-facing roof, but that may require more panels than usual in order to offset that energy. But all in all, and I'll just speak as candid as I can for our viewers today with such a great question, it's not really a great idea to put panels on a north-facing roof. But if that's the only area that your roof truly sees good sunlight, we can model that to see if it makes sense. But more times than not, in my experience, it really doesn't pencil to put solar on a north-facing roof unless you're really doing it for just a little bit environmental benefits or want to feel good that, you know, you've done the right thing. But all in all, we're looking for more of a south, west, or east-facing roof. But it's a fair question, so I hope you don't mind my straight answer. I got another question from a viewer named Logan. Hi, Logan. Welcome to Axia TV. You've been turned down by 3 solar companies who said they can't install on your clay tile roof. Can you? Well, and if there's an additional cost, I'm okay with that. Appreciate the question, Logan. You know, we've helped many, many people go solar in recent years. And now we're starting to get a good share of roofs that may not have had the easiest time in the past dealings with other companies. But I will answer you this way. If you've got a clay tile roof, we do have a workaround for that. We do have a solution. That would come at an additional cost. Sometimes that may tilt the economics for, you know, making your investment worthy or not. But there are certain measures that we know we can do. We can work with roofing partners to modify that roof to make it solar ready. So that's a fair question. We've actually recently helped a few homeowners with clay tile roofs that just came at an additional cost to build what we call a tile inset. But more on that if you meet with one of our energy consultants. So fair question. And if you're okay with some additional cost, I would encourage you to jump over to AxiaSolarUSA.com, click on Get Started, and then we can schedule a time for you to meet with one of our energy consultants. Appreciate the question there. Next, I want to share with you, if you're joining today, on how to prepare for your Axia consultation. I want to first assure you that this is a no pressure, just an informative meeting to give you all the information you look for. And our goal is really to answer any and all of the questions that you may have. So for starters, the first thing that we want to take a look at is your recent electric bill. Now I know, and I've been doing this for 12 years, I've asked thousands of people, do you understand how you're being charged for electricity? And the most common answer I get is, no, I don't. And how could I, or what choice do I have anyway? I've got to pay it regardless if I understand it. Well, let us be the experts and show you a few things on your electric bill that you may or may not know. But ultimately, that's going to give us a better read on your energy needs of today and tomorrow, what you're exposed to when it comes to the cost in energy. And then we can look at, your energy curve throughout the year, whether you use more in the summertime for air conditioning use and less in the fall and winter. Another good or a helpful way for us to get a read on your energy use is to look at your past 12 months of kilowatt hours. This, again, will help us capture or understand when and where your home uses the most energy. And in fact, this custom system design is actually based on that very thing, to put panels in areas throughout the year that you can produce the most power to help offset maybe running your air conditioning, your pool pump, especially when the temperatures soar. That's when more and more of us turn on our air conditioning. Lastly, in order just to make the best use of your valuable time, if you've got a list of questions for your energy consultant, probably best to write those down and so you're prepared to ask. But one thing I take a lot of pride in, at least here as sales director here at Axia, is our energy consultants are really trained to know and understand what some of these common questions are. And one of the most wonderful things I hear from the customer experience is that before a customer even had a chance to ask any of their list of questions, we answered them as we went, because really our goal is to anticipate the questions, anticipate the wants and needs of the customer so that they feel that we truly understand what they're learning to or wanting to know, and making sure they're well informed to make the right decision. So those are the three really critical things in order to prepare for your Axia consultation: a copy of your electric bill, your last 12 months of energy use, and a list of questions that you may have. Let me take another question in the chat. I don't understand the cost of solar and I don't want two bills. Can you help us here? Yeah, that's a fair question. The truth is, you're always going to be connected to the electrical grid. So no matter how much solar you put on the roof, you still have to pay at least a little bit to the electric company. Most of that is just a minimum delivery fee or a connection. And all in all, some utilities may also include gas, water, trash, depending on where you live. So you're always going to have a utility bill, even if you go solar with 100% offset. But we can reduce that as much as possible. But just keep in mind that there's still some what I call grizzle and fat that remains on the electric bill that you can't really get away from. So just be prepared that way. Now, when it comes to billing for a solar investment, there's a few ways you can go about doing this. You can purchase it outright and really never have a bill again when it comes to your solar investment. Or you can finance the cost of the system for a zero down program. In fact, we give our customers the ability to redirect money they're already spending on electric bills, but now towards their own fixed cost solar investment. And the best part about it, besides nothing down, is that that monthly investment in most cases will compete with what the homeowner's paying already for electricity. Some may call that free solar. We're just calling it a redirection of money that you're already spending. And in most cases, you can see an immediate return on investment, or a lower electric bill to start, which is locked in over the next 25 or 30 years, hedging against the future cost of power, which can save tens of thousands of dollars over time. Now, we'd be happy to try to help reduce the two bill scenario you bring up. But again, keep in mind that you're always going to have at least a little bit of an electric bill. And then depending on how you go about it financially, there could be another bill that way. Something else I just thought of in that very great question is what some of our utilities are now participating in what we call community choice aggregates. These are actually energy procurement sources. If you live in California, this probably is quite common, or now the new norm, is you have a major electric company, but essentially there's another company or a third party that's generating that electricity, and usually from clean sources like solar plants or hydroelectric or even wind turbines, which in a sense is the electricity generation cost. And then the utility ultimately is going to charge the ratepayer for transmission, distribution, i.e. delivery, right? So it looks kind of like a racket that you're buying your electricity from one company that generates it, yet you're paying another company to deliver it to you. A great analogy I've used in my years in helping homeowners go solar is imagine ordering a pizza for delivery. And I want you to put in your mind for a second your favorite pizza place out there, okay? You call them up and you say, hey, it's me here, Ron. I'm calling for my usual. Okay, Ron, well, usually your cost is $25, but the rules have changed. Now, your pizza is still $25, but we're going to charge you $40 for a delivery fee. Well, I don't know about you, but I certainly wouldn't accept that delivery. I would drive myself to the pizza place, pick it up myself to avoid that delivery cost. It's kind of how the utilities have us. They're charging us one cost for the pizza, or in this case, the electricity generated, but then a higher cost for transmission and delivery. That doesn't seem fair, does it? This is another reason why more and more people are adopting solar for their homes. You can cut out most of that. Maybe just get it down to the minimum, right? Just to stay connected to the grid. Because right now, until you go solar or put a power plant on your roof, you can't drive to your electric company's facility and say, I'd like to skip the delivery charges this month. Throw the power I need for the month in the back of my trunk and I'll drive it home myself. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So, great questions that kind of leads me into this explanation of how we evaluate solar for your home. We're not only looking at your energy needs of today and tomorrow, but we want to make sure you understand what you're subjected to. Because really this, what I'm going to call a racket with these electric companies, is we didn't really get a choice in the matter. We moved into our homes, whatever year that was, and in most cases, you don't get to shop around for the different electric provider. You get what you get, you can't throw a fit. And if you don't pay your bill, well, then you're going to be without power. And if you want to challenge those charges or, call the electric company to ask them for some sort of discount, chances are you're not going to get anywhere going there. So really the best thing you can do is invest in solar and batteries so you can essentially declare more energy independence, get away from some of those charges that just don't seem fair, at least to me. And I think if you really truly knew, you would feel the same. And let us help you with that. We're going to take a straightforward approach, again, help you understand your electric bill. And in all my years of doing this, one of my favorite things that homeowners ask when they're presented right, and really shown a true, honest solution is, why aren't more people doing this? Well, my common answer to that is, number one, they don't know what's available to them. Number two, they don't care. Yeah, they don't care. Or they don't qualify. So really, our job is to make sure that homeowners know what's available to them. I don't know if we can change somebody's caring or not, but we can certainly inspire them through cost savings or other to inspire them to make the switch. And then the qualification process begins by looking at the roof, the pitch, the azimuth, the angle of your roof, right? The roof quality, the structural integrity, to make sure that this is a sound project. It's going to make financial sense. All parties agree that it's a good thing, and then we can proceed from there. So appreciate the question. It helped open up my own thinking on how we evaluate solar for your home. All right, so let's get back to our show. If you're joining today for the first time, thank you for being here. My name is Jensen Chapman, Sales Director here at Axia by Q-Cells. If you're on YouTube Live, you can drop a question for me in the chat. I'll stick around for a few more minutes. Otherwise, I encourage you to jump over to AxiaSolarUSA.com. There you have a few different options waiting for you, whether you click on Get an Estimate, Get Started, or even talk with a live solar expert. We're here to meet with homeowners when, where, and how they want, and we're truly offering a better way to go solar. So if you're here for the first time or the fifth time, thanks again. My name's Jensen. Today I'm walking the homeowners or any of our viewers today through somewhat of a solar journey, or how to know if your home is solar ready and how to prepare for your meeting. So let me go back a few and talk next about Axia by Q-Cells products and services, because all in all, we really take pride in some of our accolades, our longevity, and certainly our financial stability in the industry. For starters, Q-Cells, the manufacturer, has the #1 market share here in the United States. That's now more than 35% of all solar panels installed on rooftops here in the U.S. are Q-Cells panels. In fact, if you live in a neighborhood, you've seen solar panels around you, chances are that one out of three of those homes in your own neighborhood have our all-black Q-Cell technology. Pretty cool there. Now, why and how did we establish such market share? Well, for starters, we make a reliable product that performs very well. We're also doing all of our assembly currently here in the U.S., and more people are adopting solar than in the history of time, and we truly offer the best value when it comes to all the components, all the parts, compared to what other solar companies are out there doing. So get on this movement. We're already leading the charge when it comes to market share, and really what we're made up of is some of the best technology that is available to homeowners here in the U.S. From our own solar panels, our own inverter system, our own battery. Now we're bringing in EV chargers to our offerings, understanding the demand and need that more and more homeowners are investing in electric vehicles. And instead of relying on just electricity as we know it today, which isn't as clean as you may think, you can actually generate clean energy off your roof to charge that electric vehicle with sun gas. Q-Cells also offers some of the industry-leading warranties. I'm talking up to 30 years of performance, 25 years for our product. And this covers power, product, and service with no questions asked. And the beauty of working with Axia by Q-Cells is you're working directly with the manufacturer. So as opposed to getting passed around or having to cross your fingers that your contractor is still in business or not, it's one call that does it all. And we're the same company that made it, sold it, and ultimately installed it. And that's really, I'd say, a brief overview of our products and services. So let me wrap with this and just invite anyone who's on the call today to inquire more about solar for your home. We are so happy that you're here and we'll be honored to take a few minutes to meet with you. These virtual consultations that we run usually don't take more than 45 minutes, depending on the questions that you have. But if you're ready to get an estimate or find out if your home's solar ready, you've got a few options on the screen. You can do so. First of all, if you're joining on YouTube Live, head on over to AxiaSolarUSA.com. There you can click on Get an Estimate, Request a Quote. You can even talk with a solar expert to answer some upfront questions you may have. Either way, we want to meet with homeowners when, where, and how they want, and we're truly offering a better way to go solar. All right, I've got one more question in the chat, and then I'll wrap for today's live stream. Jensen, what specifications or attributes should I be looking at to identify the best panels on the market? Fair question. There's a lot of great choices out there. I like to go to a different restaurant once a month that I've never been before. That's something that I can just consume and, feel good or not about it. Solar panels are a little different. Most panels are doing the same thing where they're producing sunlight from electricity, but not all solar panels are created equal. So really to help answer that question objectively, and obviously I'm partial because I work directly for Q-Cells, you want to know the financial stability of that solar manufacturer, how long they've been around, and then you can also look at their data sheets when it comes to expected performance, real case examples, case studies, etc. Most companies are selling pretty good technology, but if you're getting a really cheap quote as compared to some others that you may have looked at, you may want to look twice into what's truly being sold to you or offered, because there are some subpar panels or technology out there that most consumers may not be aware of. So make sure you ask questions like, what type of panels are you using? How well are they expected to perform and for how long? How efficient are those solar panels? What is the percentage those panels degrade each year? Because panels naturally will produce a little bit less and less power. So all these are important things to consider when you're talking about quality of equipment. I would just trust the fact that Axia by Q-Cells has that all figured out. We know who the competitors are out there, and they're not other solar companies. They're your electric company. So if you're looking to get out from underneath this one-way road that you're on with rising cost of electricity that goes up year after year after year, you're always going to need energy. Soon your car's going to need energy from it's going to need electricity, whether you know it or not right now. And we truly offer a better way to go to solar with the best technology, the best service, and the best warranty. So fair question, ask the right questions, and we'll be here to assist you. So again, thanks for joining today's live stream. My name is Jensen Chapman, Sales Director here at Axia by Q-Cells. This will be on our website for days and weeks to follow. I want to wish everyone a happy Halloween this month. And